Chef the old butcher runners today. Welcome back to NZ Marko Kustoms. Here we are. That's what I was making to you yesterday. Right. Today's mission. More sanding. So, yeah. So we sprayed all this in the end of the last video. If you haven't seen that, I'm just in the middle of actually rendering it together, and then it'll be up before obviously you see this one. But this should be the last prime. Fingers crossed. Everything looks pretty good. Before I left, there was a couple little spots. Because sometimes when you start sanding, things come different colours. Obviously, when you break through to body filler or steel or whatever, there was a couple little spots where I still had some just like little spots where I hadn't frickin' put fill in places, you know, where you think, oh yeah, I'll fill that and fill that, and you go around and you fill the little bits and you frickin' every now and again you miss one. So I put a couple little dabs of stuff in a couple places on only a couple of panels before I left yesterday, but we're not primed. We're not been mixing the primer for the last couple of times. I'd only been doing it about 10%. And depending on the temperature, it was either drying too fast, or it would lay out nice, or it would dry too fast depending on the temperature. So I thought, and I really wanted to get it to, see if I could get it to lay down really flat and smooth, so I didn't have to do quite so much sanding. And I probably should have went to 15, but I went to 20% in the first mix, and it was just a bit runny because I poured it on pretty nicely, and it looked. All the panels look good. That's the other part of the reason why I wanted to do it. So I wanted to get quite a wettish coat on, so it would try and flow out and sit really nice. But unfortunately, it was just a little bit thin, and it started to run after I walked away from the panels, as I did the first one. And it was only anything that was sort of had a bit of vertical on it. So I'm going to do a little bit of wet dry sanding at 400. And then I will switch to do everything with 600 wet and dry. Righty, so I've been doing quite a bit of block sanding. I've just been trying to pick the last couple little bits and pieces. I think I've got all the runs out of it. I might have to just do a little bit more sanding here, just go a little bit deeper. I'm going to have to do a touch bit of, just a little bit of spot priming. Just give it a couple of light mists and let it dry, and then just give it a very light rub off, just so it paint stays on there. So I've done that front guard, done that front one, done both the sides. I think they should be okay. I want to do a little bit of just misting on them too. I've done that one. I haven't really given it a good wipe off, and I've done this one. I haven't given it a really good wipe off yet, just to make sure I've got everything. And I'm happy. So yeah, I'm just, well, once I'm finished with this one, I'm going to move these up here. But it's almost lunchtime, and I've just There's frickin' a whole lot of frickin' just tiny little pinholes in here. I was hoping I was going to fill it with frickin' primer, but I just won't fill. I probably would if I poured a heap in there. There's just a couple of other little pieces, so I'm just going to give that another wee rub off when this has gone off. I've only just put it in. I'll give it a wee rub off with probably some 320 or something like that. And when we do a little, obviously we've got to do a little bit of touch up, I'll blow an extra couple of, I'm not going to mix up much in the gum, like I won't. A lot of these pieces I won't even have to touch, but there's just a couple of pieces I'll just have to dust in. Just where I've rubbed through, sanding out. Freaking still a bit of a run there, I'll have to give that a wee bit more of a rub. That was mainly why I freaking ended up with a couple of bare spots just trying to get rid of the runs. I'll just have to get that a bit more rub there too. But yeah, so once I'm happy with everything, yeah, we'll just give it a wee mist and pour a little bit extra down there, and then just give it another rub out. And yeah, we'll paint them black. So that it's, well, if the weather's okay, I'll do it tonight. If I get a chance to get this all done. And yeah, we'll see. Or it might be tomorrow. We'll just see how it goes. I was hoping to do it today, but it's typical. You can just about guarantee every time you do this, you're chasing these last little fucking bits that just keep pissing you off. You think you've got good enough. So yeah, I've still got to rub these out, so we'll throw these up here once I've got that sorted, so I can do one at a time on the panel stand so it's at decent height. We'll still have the rear fender to do, and then we can probably block sand the body, but yeah, I just want to get all the guards and the valances sorted mainly so I can paint them black. Righty, so I'm about to mix up. There's just a thickish amount of, like a little bit in the bottom of the can of primer. There's like some thick stuff in there. So I've just put a wee splash of thinners in there, because I don't need fuck all. I've only just got to do a few little mists on some little bits of steel. Hopefully it's enough. So I'm just going to stir the bottom of that can up a bit. I might even grab the other one, see if there's enough anything in that. And just see if I can stir up enough slops and make a reasonable little batch of primer to stick in the bottom of the gun. I've got that other can there, but if I don't have to break into it, it'd be freaking great. Before I bugger off, and I've said this quite a few times too, if you can, please give me a thumbs up on the videos. I'm still getting good views, like my last, like the one I just dropped yesterday, the one I dropped a couple of days beforehand, 34 I think it was, I can't remember which video. Had heaps of good views, but not many thumbs up. So if you are watching, please give me a thumbs up. It would make a big difference to try and push things along, because the first few lots of monetization money that I get, I'm going to put into a mic if I can, and some other video gear to improve things, because I've had somebody else saying, oh, you need to get a frickin', a mic that I can plug into my phone. But I don't want to go buy some cheap thing, because I've seen a few people use those cheaper ones, and some of them do work probably okay. But I would like to get myself a decent double set of either a DJI or one of those Rode mics. So I've always got something half decent, so when I'm walking around I can have it on, and if I'm a little bit out of shot I can still keep talking at a decent volume, or if I'm got my head away from the camera, pointing in the other direction, it's not muffled. I do try and pull the levels up a little bit depending on how hard it is, because I sit there and edit it with earphones, and then when I'm doing all the talking stuff, I try and make sure that I can at least hear. Sometimes it might be a little bit low when it gets away, and obviously that can be a little bit awkward, because when I come back close it gets a bit louder again, but I make sure that I can still audibly hear it. If it is a little bit quiet, I will pull the levels up a little bit. I don't like to try and pull them up too high, just in case I walk back close to the camera and then all of a sudden it's really loud again. But generally, if I do that, I'll just fade it down a little bit. I try and bring the levels up a little bit, but you got to be careful you don't bring them up too much, otherwise you get a weird background noise if you do try and pull them up too high. So I will, at some point when I can afford it here in New Zealand, I'd like to buy, as I said, a DJI double mic kit, so if I have two people here, or if I'm out doing something, whatever, I can have at least access to two mics. And I want to get some GoPros or something like that. To be honest, I think GoPros are freaking spat shot themselves in the foot. I know quite a few people that have gone away from them in recent times. They just give too many technical issues. I've really noticed it with people saying, oh, freaking, especially people I know that use them a lot, and there'll be footage and whatever they've lost, or they've lost audio, or even sometimes they'll have a bit of a glitch in the clip that they've put up, but they've just put up with it, sort of thing. Whereas I know the DJI action cameras seem to be pretty reliable. Like, they obviously have issues too, but they don't seem to be anywhere near the amount of the GoPro stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. I even noticed that Brent from Halfass the other day, he made a bit of a comment that he had a guts full of frickin' GoPros. So, and I know he's obviously got a few cameras, and he uses a SLR type sort of camera as well. So yeah, I noticed the other day that he mentioned that he's kind of getting over the issues, which sucks, They need to put some more reliability in. So yeah, that's when I get monetized, and I am close. I just need those watch hours to come up a bit. I've gained quite a few more subs that just in the last week or two. Had another good jump there, reasonably quick. So I'm thinking 1,250 something, which is really awesome. Yeah, but I need about another 150 odd watch hours. I just need to get those watch hours up a little bit just to break that barrier. And then whatever I get from the first few lots of, depending on obviously what comes through, I'm going to put that into audio and camera gear, my first few lots, and then then after that I'll start putting it into probably the 37 Nash, just to help me do some stuff on that, obviously depending on how much I start making of it. But yeah, why wouldn't you take advantage of it if you can make a little bit of money out of something you like doing and making videos about it? Why wouldn't you take advantage of it? It's not as though I'm doing it for it, I can make a half decent living out of this, but if you can add content and make better content from doing it, why wouldn't you? Especially today's age, if you can get money from some other source apart from just what you normally do every day, and have the opportunity to make videos about it, why not? Make better content. I barely watch TV occasionally, but I'd much rather prefer and sit and watch these guys out there make content about shit you love doing. I've obviously definitely got my regulars that I go to, like Carl from Make a Kustom, Vice Grip, Brent from Halfass, Arco, and from Outlaw Ridge, the Iron Horse boys, Cletus. I watch Cletus fairly regularly, and there's a reasonable handful of others that when they drop content, I'll definitely have a quick nosy, and a lot of the times I'll watch the videos, and sometimes it's, I might be just too busy and it's something that doesn't really, not quite what I want to watch, and I'll skip that video and then I'll watch the next one, if you know what I mean, sort of type thing. It just depends, how much you told me you have during the day, but there's quite a few channels that I regularly watch most things, you know what I mean, and try and catch them all, like there's Dave from Scott Rides. I wouldn't say I watch everything, but I'd probably watch 75 to 85% of it, maybe 90% of it. I missed the old video. I try and catch Bill from Outlaw Garage. To be honest, I don't watch that many, but maybe out of every 10 videos I watch, I'm at least watching one or two. It's just to have time to watch all these things. I try and every now and again I might have a bit of a binge watch, and I'll watch, half a dozen videos from Ralfy's. I'd like to watch more of his, but it's like with everything else. You just don't have the time. I can quite easily spend 3 or 4 hours editing videos myself, so that cuts into time that I could sit down and watch something. Plus obviously you got family life as well and whatever. So you try and pick and choose what you want to do, and plus you've got to work and whatever. But yeah, and Danny from DG Retro, I try and catch his videos as regularly as I can. Again, it might be the 1 or 2 out of 10. Sometimes if I might, you're the same sort of thing as Ralfy, so I might catch a couple and oh shit, that was fucking good. Now what was he doing before that? And I'll jump back and watch another 2 or 3, have a bit of a binge session, over a couple of hours on a Sunday or something like that, if I happen to spot a good video, and then go back 2 or 3 to catch what I've missed, if you know what I mean. But yeah, there's lots of them like that. There's all sorts of little channels that you'll be sifting through all the stuff. The biggest thing that actually freaking annoys me about YouTube is the shorts. Because there's so fucking many of them. It can make it awkward because there's a lot of guys out there that put a lot of shorts out, but they don't put out many, but I'd say bigger videos. When I mean bigger videos, anything sort of longer than 10 minutes. You know, they might put out a 3 or 4 minute clip over here and a 5 minute clip there and 6 minute clip there and then a whole heap of shorts again. So yeah, like I get a bit sick of sifting through the shorts. Like I know they've got their place. That's why I use, well, when I freaking get a chance, I use Instagram and TikTok for that. I don't tend to put shorts up on YouTube, maybe occasionally, but yeah. So that kind of makes it awkward looking through stuff too, because sometimes I just get sick of sifting through all the shorts to find the other videos. It depends on what I'm looking at it on, whether I'm on my PC, I might be downloading some footage off my phone or whatever, and I'll go and watch a couple of videos while I'm screwing around sorting other stuff out. And you know, and sometimes you might get hooked there for an hour and a half watching videos, but and then go back to what you were doing. But yeah, sometimes I get sick of, you know, sifting through 300 freaking shorts to go through 50, you know, regular videos, if you know what I mean, that people have put up. It gets a little bit annoying, but if I'm sifting through stuff on the TV, it's not quite so bad because it doesn't tend to put the shorts up on the TV, which is good. Yeah. So yeah, kind of get sick of the shorts, but anyway, we'll carry on. I'll get some primer spritzed on some of this little bare patches, and we'll get some black on this old bitch. Right, I got these couple little bits fucking misted in. I think it might have bit me in the foot, only because it was probably, again, it was a little bit thin. I actually didn't think it was too bad when I mixed it, but it's sagged. I wish that didn't happen, but anyway, we'll deal with it. I think that's alright. It's just a couple of spots. I think that's alright too. Because I puffed it on a couple of edges and bits and pieces. You can see here, it's tried to sag. Where I puffed a bit in here. Well, mind you, I actually blew it in there a reasonable amount. Puffed it on this edge, did I, somewhere, I think, or was it this one? Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, frickin', it's tried to run again. Pain fucking ass. Man, shit like this frickin' can screw you up. Because now I gotta let it dry. Which won't take that long. But it is cool at the moment because it's early in the morning. Because I thought, there's enough in there, enough slop in there, because I end up with about half one of these little bottles by the time I'd made it up. About half one of these. So what did we have? If we go to the 4 to 1, we ended up about here somewhere. So I had, you know, a couple of 100 mils. You know, it wasn't half that, but it was maybe maybe a bit less than a third, sort of guess, thereabouts. About a thirdish. I thought, that's fucking plenty to give me a couple go around, you know, let it dry and then for a bit and then go back around again, just to give it a couple of little light dust overs. Yeah, it frickin' run. So I was like, here's actually the rest of it in here. I just tipped it back into here, so this is what I got left. Which is not a lot, but I was just like, well, I'm not frickin' putting any more on. So we end up with a bigger mess. I just thought, yeah, that'd be right just to dust it on. I probably should have just dusted on real light and then put another real light one on it. I just thought, I'll just blow that in there because I'd been screwing around in there a little bit, trying to make that frickin' piece nicer. And it looks alright now because I got rid of the frickin' stupid, is it that one? Yeah, it's one of those, because I had some of those stupid frickin' marks in there still, so I scraped a bit of extra glaze and putty in there. So one of these was bent weird in here. It was hard to straighten. So I scraped a bit more of that frickin' stuff in there, and then I sanded it off with a bit of 240 and then went over it a couple of times with a 400. I thought, oh yeah, I'll just blow a little bit extra in there. Pain in the ass, but anyway. It might be alright. I might just have to open that other can up and blow a bit more on there in an hour or so. We'll give this an hour, maybe a wee bit more. We'll see if it'll sand. And see if we can get rid of the fucking run. Pain in the ass. So I just wanted to give it a very light rub with some wet. But I'm now going to have to let it dry. And I give it actually a wee while to dry, because I puffed it in here too and it didn't frickin' sag on me. So it must have been just a little bit lighter through here. But then I got the other part of the fender, you know what I mean? Oh, man. Sometimes getting a bit of a hurry. I was like, oh yeah, I'll just puff a bit more on there. That's alright. It might have it doesn't, that didn't sag. So yeah, it's probably just where I just got a little bit slightly heavy. Probably if it was just normal consistency like that 10%, it wouldn't have run on me. But mind you, it's cold though too, so it's not going off as fast. I wouldn't say it's cold, but it's cool. It's bound to get to about 19, 20 degrees today, which is sort of, optimal for painting in open conditions like this. Somewhere around about that 20, 21, 22 degrees is quite good to paint in. Things dry nice and, paint normally reasonably consistent to stir, whatever. So I might just puff that frickin' edges on that. I've already pulled the gun down. I'm not painting this black anyway at the moment, so we might have some touch-ups up in here yet before we might have to dust that. I did dust the corners and I didn't actually look at there too bad, but yeah, I've actually rubbed through there. It's alright. Yeah. Anyway, we'll let this dry off. I'll start doing some sanding on here and see where we get to. I thought, screw it, I just pushed the chassis outside and gave it a rinse down with the old pressure wash. At least that gets rid of any frickin' dust and crap. Obviously I've still got to blow the shit off when it dries, but at least it's no sanding residue and crap everywhere, so I can see what I've got to touch up and respray from overspray. I did mask some of it out, but initially, but it's not hard to when this dries. Just give it a blow off, and we can just dust it with a bit of black. And like I said, the springs in that are frickin' screwed anyway. Like if he ever puts it on the road, they need to be all replaced, and all the hangers and bits and pieces. So it's not a biggie if I just dust them in again. But yeah, it's cool. So when that dries off, I'll blow it down and we'll give it a wipe and prep it and stuff. I'm just still waiting on this other stuff to dry. I was going to start sanding that, and I thought, oh shit, I'll push that outside and give it a hose off. So at least that's clean. And I gave it a bit of a blow off, a wash up around the in the steering box area too, because I'll miss that in black while I'm doing it. While I'm painting that, I'll just come up there and I'll just give it a real light one around there. And and then we can blow a bit of black on it at the same time, since I've acid washed it off there a few days and I painted it whole. That's all I do once I've finished blowing a bit of paint around that, just tighten it up. So we'll just let this dry for a bit longer. Now I'll start sanding that, wet sanding it anyway. Got a wee bucket and a bit of 600 and we'll start. Right, I've just sprayed all the insides of these with a couple of coats. Obviously I haven't turned them over. I've still got to wipe down the outsides properly. Just gave them a good wipe down on the inside with some prep wipe and mixed up a little bit of black. I actually used my old original Faithful, that one there, just to give it a run and make sure it was working okay if I need a backup. Say for some reason I have issues with that other thing, because I know it was really clean. So I just gave it a shot, and I had a little bit left. I didn't really need to put 3 or 4 coats in there. Well, 3 coats in there. So I went around here, and this has only got 1 coat on it, but so when I come back after lunch, obviously I'll wipe all these things down. Hopefully this stuff will be dry enough after lunch sometime. I might just hang away for an hour and a half, 2 hours, just let the stuff go off a bit, then I can come back and I'll use my other gun. And this here, obviously if it's dry enough, I might just give it a very light wet if it'll handle it. If not, if it's still soft enough, it'll bite in afterwards, but that's just one coat. I probably really should frickin' mix up another one and just spray it on, eh? Just spray another one on. Yeah, I think I will. I just think I'll just mix it up another again. That's actually sprayed it out, fucking laid it out pretty nice. I'll give it another 5 minutes. And I'll just blow another one on there. I'll be done with it, and then I don't have to worry about the chassis. Because it's actually laid out pretty fucking nice. I was going to use my other gun, but I thought I'd do all the insides with the other one. And then I don't have to panic about it quite so much. But I might just mix up another little frickin' bit and spray this, because I whip around the steering box and bits and pieces too. Or should I just wait? It should be okay, I would think. As long as it's that hot, I think another coat, like if within a couple of hours, should be okay. It's laid out pretty nice. I'll make a couple of phone calls, we'll see. Just see whether you reckon it'll be okay. Because I just had some paint left over. I thought, oh, screw it, I'll just flick her on. See what it's like, because if it doesn't look that good, there's a little bit of shit in it, but because I didn't have the door closed, I probably should have, but freaking looks pretty good. But yeah, another couple of coats over the top of that, and if we have to give it a wet sand just to sharpen her up, it won't take much. It's pretty nice anyway. Righty, anyway, I'll figure out what I'm going to do, and then yeah, we'll spot you after lunch, and we'll get this stuff cleaned up and put 2 or 3, yeah, probably 3 on the other side. Righty guys, so I've got all my panels turned over. I'm just going around edges where there's any major overspray from the inside, and just giving it a very light wet sand with some 600 wet. Remind me the next time I ever do one of these or something similar, and there's no reinforcing in the corner of those guards where that side piece meets the piece of the guard that comes around, right in that corner. There's a brace in there, but it's not joint between the panel that comes down. I'll fucking show you. Hold on. Right. And here. So where this comes up to here, and here, if I can, if I happen to do something else like this that's designed like this, I'm gonna build a brace between here and here. So this, every time you don't go pick the fucking thing up, it flexes, or if you pick it up in the wrong place, not thinking about things, it flexes. Because when I picked this up, it cracked. It broke it chipped a piece out of this corner. The body floor, so I'm trying to fucking repair it before I paint. Just trying to put a little bit of filler in there. This is my second little bit. I'll just give it a wee light sand off with some 320, and then I'll just give it a very light rub with some 600 and just polish it up. And just paint it. It's going to be right in the corner. It's kind of going to be in a spot that's, I wouldn't say it's going to be highly seen. It is, but it's not. It'll sort of hide itself, but I couldn't leave it. Like, it had quite a decent chip back down to the steel in there, so pain in the ass. It's just the way this is designed. If you go to pick it up here, even though it's got like a little brace in this corner, because this isn't attached to it, the whole thing just freaking wants to flex. It's not so bad if you pick it up here and then like over here, but if you just happen to grab it too close to this corner, it just changes the way the weight sits in it, and it just breaks fucking a wee bit of body filler out of the corner. So yeah, and the only reason I was doing that is because when I went to wipe it the second time, I noticed there was just a remnants of the run still there, and it's still there. I'm gonna have to do it again. I can actually feel that. Damn it. Yeah, that's from the that body. When I put that frickin' first lot of high build back on here the other day, I should have frickin' it's bit me in the arse now. I'll know frickin' next time not to frickin' make it quite so wet. Yeah, I just thought, oh yeah, 20% will be okay. It'll just make it nice and wet so it'll really flow out and I can sort of see what's going on. Make sure it looks straight when you first got it on there, because it'll be nice and glossy and give me a really good chance to look at it instead of being quite so thick. Sometimes when you spray it on and you do it like with almost no reducer or just only a little bit in it, you get that real heavy peel come on it, like with high build, which is okay for a start off because you're trying to build it up and cover scratches and whatever. And I thought, oh yeah, I'll freaking knock it out to 20%. I should have just done it to 15 and just laid out a reasonable wet one. And yeah, that frickin' whiteness just sagged on me because I had another frickin' sand. I'm waiting on that shit to go off. I think I've got everything else. I was running here too. Might see if I can get rid of the worst of that. I was freaking around here still too. God, bloody hell. At least it's in a spot you're not going to see, but I'll try and get rid of some of that. I'll sit with that a wee bit of 320. That'll knock that down quickly. I'll just give it a light rub with 600, but that there I'll have to do with 600. Anyway, carry on. Freaking hell, I should be putting paint on now. Because I want to give this a decent chance to dry so I can move it all to get the fucking car back in here. Freaking Studio's it's just a curse at the moment. I was hoping it was going to be going for upholstery, but the upholstery place can't take it for fucking months. So it's got to go over in that shed. Otherwise, it's just a pain in the ass. Like, it's all good to be doing a little bits on it, but it's not hard to trundle across in that shed if I get a chance to do anything on it. Go over there, crank it up and drive it over. It's not hard to move it, but yeah, it's just a fucking curse at the moment. I'm gonna have to get used to that gun. It just fucking smashes it on. I'm gonna have to be careful. And just, if I don't get if I miss a little piece, don't go back over it. So I got one little run there. But look how flat and just the finish off the gun. That is fucking sick. Now I've got one wee run over here too, I think. So I think that's the only other one I've got. I'm pretty sure that's me painting, not one from the primer. Because that's where I was sanding before, but it was sort of like across here. But if I have to do one little sand out, just to touch up a couple of pieces, because I tried to wet sand the back of that chassis, but it's too soft. But if I wait till tomorrow or something like that and just give it a quick scuff, so if I have to do a couple little, just even if I have to wet sand those two and recoat, I don't care. We'll just leave these for a few minutes, just let them dry off. Man, that thing fucking lays glass. God, I wish I was in a decent fucking booth just to keep the dust out of it, but holy shit, oh fuck, I gotta run there too. Damn it. God, I got a few there. And that's from blowing the paint back that way. That thing is a monster. Bugger it. Man, I got fucking heap. Well, I'd say I got a heap of paint fucking mixed up, but yeah, I wonder if I might just dial that back a little bit, because it just fuck, you barely have to try to put it on. Yeah, I just need to get used to it, I think. Use it a bit more. Till I get used to how much it's putting on. Because I wasn't even trying to frickin' lay it on thick. I was trying to go quick to, just get a lighter coat on there, but I was just smashing it on so fast it was causing runs. Wow. Wind this in, we'll just, I don't know if I fucking set the needle. After I had it apart and cleaned it last time. I'll set the needle and just double check. Yeah, I set it at 2.5, I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure I went it in more than that. I didn't count, but it's a pain in the ass, but I've got plenty of paint, but Jesus Christ, that thing fucking just, if you can get it off the gun and get used to it without, none of my other guns will pour it on like that. And such a massive fan, like I dialed it way back, like I think that's, I can't remember, like that was the first one, it was monster. I think I pulled it back in quite a bit. Like it's only really barely two swipes to get a frickin' panel. Yeah, I might just, we'll try it in 2. Pain in the butt, because I've got all this mixed up for sort of, for 2 or 3 coats, but she just smashes her on. Like you can see, like I haven't even got there yet. I'm impressed with that gun. I'm just, it's me trying to get used to the fucking thing. Damn it. Because I was thinking, oh, fuck, that looks sick. It's just laid it on like glass. Damn. Well, if I have to give it a wee wet sand and frickin' just get used to the gun and dial it back a little bit. I didn't even thin it. I just straight reducer and because I thought, shit, that looks quite thin. I know that thing, when I painted the chassis, it smashed it on. was like, oh, I'll just, I won't thin it just in case it wants to run. Damn. Yeah, it's me and more inexperienced than fucking anything else with the gun. Not having a gun of that sort of quality, it will just blow it on. Holy shit. Didn't even have to try to put it on. Nice. Wowzers. What's that like? It's probably dry enough to freaking pour another coat on anyway. But damn, it sucks. Because that is glassy. That is fucking glassy. Man, what a pain in the ass. Anyway. That sucks. Razor blade, scrape the worst, the runoff. Put a wee sand in. Because I'd rather have it like that than buff it. I'd rather have it off the gun. It fucking lays like that. Just leave it alone. It's a far nicer finish than I could ever get with that other piece of crap. But the other cheap gun, it lays it on pretty well, but not like that thing does. Alright, we'll pour a bit more on there, and at least that'll give me a bit to... I've got it fucking mixed now, so I may as well put it on. And, yeah. See if we can... There's no runs in that one, is there? Or is there? No, I think I might have one. That and the side balances. Have I got any runs on this? And I'm good with this too so far. Oh, I've got 4 panels I don't have to fuck with at the moment. We'll pour another coat on. Oh, it's on there now. We'll let it cure off. We'll get a blade and we'll scrape the runs off and give everything another wet sand, probably 600 or even 800, and go from there. Yeah, we'll just have to see. Pain in the fucking ass. Just, it's purely me just really not being... I just set the gun at what I would normally set it at, about three and a bit turns out on the fluid needle, and set a good size fan. That's one thing. The other guns, the first A&I gun I got when I was here in New Zealand back about 2015 or whatever it was, F-150. It had a really nice big fan on it too. So I used it painting trucks and bits and pieces, and then when I moved to Australia and we were moving around for a wee while, got thrown out, misplaced somewhere. Not really sure because we stayed at a lot of people's houses. Long story, but yeah, I was meant to work in Brisbane and then that didn't work out, so we ended up driving around half Australia, I suppose. Yeah, and just somewhere along the line got misplaced. Well, I think it got thrown out because it was in a plastic grocery shopping bag that New Zealand and Australia uses or used to use a lot of before they started making everybody use those. They're like a canvassy sort of type bag nowadays. So you just take the same bag, you know, every time, which makes more sense. I don't know why they didn't do that 50 fucking years ago, but anyway. Yeah. So that had a really good fan, and then I bought that other cheap starter line DeVilbiss. And it did spray okay for a start off, but it was never the same after about the second paint job mucking around with those tractors. When I tried to do the studio, yeah, I just had nothing but problems with it. Just wouldn't seal. It was obviously sucking air. Couldn't get a decent fan out of it. But this thing here is just, it's just a pure monster. It's a different caliber gun to what I'm used to, and because it's a massive fan and just wants to pour it on, yeah, I just wasn't quite prepared for it. I was silly. I should have. I thought I would just use my other older, my very original gravity, just to flip the inside side, so that gun wasn't sitting there dirty for a few. Well, I wouldn't say dirty, but you know, if I washed out, I just didn't want any old paint or anything sitting in there and having to block up or frickin' screw me up, what, for just, you know, crap coming out or whatever. It's kind of, I didn't want that, so I thought I'll just use the other gun, spray the insides, and yeah, I'll use the other gun to paint the outsides, but I wish I used it on the insides, because yeah, it would have given me half a feel for what it was going to, how much it was going to pour on. Yeah, and I might have been able to just get a handle on it and just dial it back a little bit more than I thought. And I thought it was going to go on good because I didn't reduce it, the paint. But it just smashed so much on, and with with the overlap, just every panel looked like fucking glass, but it was odd running it, whereas obviously where I'd blown back over from a different direction for the edges and stuff like that, it was just enough paint to make it frickin' run, because I just hadn't dialed it back enough. I even dropped the pressure there that time, dropped it back to about 20 psi. I think it says you need to run it at 32, which I think is way too much. I don't know, probably if you get used to it. If you did really get used to it, you'd just smash paint on it no times at all, like you'd blow, like even a big car, you'd blow it on in no time flat, and like, you know, be less than 10 swipes in the roof, if you know what I mean, because it'd be like, especially if it had a big wide roof like an Impala or something like that, from the 60s, like 65, 66 Impala, like you wouldn't need many frickin' passes and the roof would be done. That's how big a fan it's got, you know, and I wound it in just to try and settle it down a little bit so I could get a handle on it, but in the second and third coat, but yeah. I liked it where it was for a start off, but it was just, yeah, just probably just needed that fluid needle in just a little bit. It's one of those things that it'll come with practice with that gun. But yeah, that's my other biggest problem too, is like my paint jobs are 6 months, 12 months apart. Doesn't help either. It's an absolute monster, that thing. Yeah, just wasn't quite prepared for it. But man, it smashes it on. If I can get a handle on it and get used to using it, yeah, it'll lay down. I won't even have to buff or sand anything. Like, if I can get it to lay down like it did. Anyway, we'll catch you later on. I'll bugger off and leave the shit for a while, and I'll come back. Hopefully it doesn't rain, and yeah, I'll come back. I don't know, later on this evening, and I'll pull everything back out of the road when I know these panels are dried off enough that I can move them, or at least halfway handle them so they don't pull a fucking panel stand or anything stupid. And I'll bring the old studio in. Yeah, and if it's dry enough for me tomorrow, I'll fucking sand some shit and more shit, but at least I got some colour on. I guess. Feel like a 1 step backwards, 2 steps forwards, 1 step backwards, 2 steps forward. Oh, well, it might be the other way around, 2 steps backwards, 1 step forward. Pain in the butt. Yeah, it's lack of not doing it often enough either. I think, like if you're painting every 2 or 3 weeks, it would be alright, you'd get more dialed in, especially with a new gun. But I'll quickly show you just, you know, on a couple of spots what it laid down like. It's fucking amazing. Like that's the 3rd coat, and I was playing with it to try and get it to lay down, but, well, not lay down, but just slow down. It's pretty freaking nice, and it's not as nice as it was with the 1st coat too, but if I can get these cleaned up and get a bit of a handle on it, if I can get a clean 1 coat, because that's what I'll try and do, just a clean 1 coat over top, not stress about the edges and shit. I think we'll be dialed in, because man, it just fucking pours it on. It does, it just pours it on. Fucking pain in the ass, shame. Look at the fucking shine in that. If I didn't have the freaking couple of runs in it. This isn't as nice as what it was when I first laid it down. It's a little motley. Well, not to say motley, but it's a little orange peely now, but that's where that freaking bit of shit broke out, but it looks fucking fine now. But yeah, maybe just, yeah, we'll knock the frickin' runs off and see if we can get 1 nice clean coat on them. And I think we'll be okay. Oh jeez, big dirty run there too. Didn't spot that before. Shadows. So that's the other thing too, shadows. Not enough lights in here. I need fucking lights everywhere to give me plenty of light, especially with the dark colours. Because you don't want to be painting with the doors open. But anyway, lack of not using enough and not familiar with the new gun that will just smash paint on. Because when I did this duty, when I had this, it was more me trying to put it on too many coats on too quick. I think. Where this was more me not being used to the gun. Because apart from that primer, that last one I mixed it too thin, like I really didn't have any runs in it. But yeah, it's alright. Shit happens. We'll sort it. And at the same time, we'll wet sand this and do the back of this. I went around there and I sprayed a little bit extra frickin' black around some of these ugly old fucking U-bolts and hangers and shit just to colour them up so they don't look quite so bad. But yeah, if it's hard enough in the morning, we'll fix it all. It's not quite where I wanted it to do, but it's what needs to be done. At least I got some colour on it. Makes me feel better anyway, kind of. Alright, see you tomorrow.